Welcome back. Our guest is Senator Shehu Sani. He is with us. When we went on break, our calls have started to come in. We have a slight technical issue, but we can still get the calls nevertheless. It's just that we can't really speak with the people who are calling in. So as soon as we put you on, please identify yourself and where you're calling from, and then we're good. You can continue. But in the meantime, as I said, Senator Shehu Sani is with us. And he closed by making some statements that, look, we have to try and understand the situation, put everything in context. These people are our neighbors, and quite frankly, we are one. But for the British amalgamation of Nigeria, when it went back there I think, all the way back in 1914, we very well could have been in the same country. But the first caller has come in. Good morning to you. Where are you calling from? And please tell us your name.
Uncle Yara, this is George calling from Niger.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to you. Good morning to the comrade you are talking to.
Sure.
Uncle Yara, with due respect to Mr. Shehu Sani, I want to disagree with some of his arguments. These military juntas that we are talking about, their argument is that France had over-dominated them. If that is true, what are they doing with Russia now? We are aware that it is Russia that is coordinating them with also another hidden agenda. I am in total support of a blockade against those military juntas. The reason being that, the time this subject came up, I was of the view, and I'm still of the view, that the first thing the ECOWAS will have done is to expel them and go to the African Union, promote the same idea, to expel them until they return to democracy before they are readmitted. There is an argument now that that what is being done to them will put Nigeria in danger. I don't quite agree with that. Instead, if we allow it to stand, we are putting our own democracy in danger, because the military in our country will think it is something they can do and get away with it, since our neighbors are doing the same thing. If Niger and the rest are not comfortable with their leaders, they should put it to vote and let the people decide. What is the criteria for these military people saying that the people do not like what was it not the same people that elected those leaders they dethroned? So I am not able to buy that argument. The economic aspect of it is not only Nigeria that we lose, it is those countries themselves we also lose. It is an economic block, true, but you cannot have a good economy without a sound democracy. One person will pocket the money and nobody has the right to challenge him. You cannot take him to court. You cannot even criticize him. What kind of economy is that? Okay,
Mr. George. Thank you very much for calling in. But Senator Sani, our military has been saying over and over again that, the leadership of our military has been saying over and over again that what Mr. George suggested is simply not on the cards at all. And but you heard him yourself. Your comments, please, on his submission.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I have listened to his own line of argument. But what I want to bring his attention to it is that sanctions has never worked in terms of changing governments. And those of us who are in the northern part of the country, we know how it feels to stay by the hostile neighbor. And what Nigeria is doing now is like when you have a neighbor that has divorced his wife, then you come and say that any person who is going to be my neighbor must be a married man. You have no right to dictate to them what kind of government they should have. And if you are talking of looting, is money not being looted in Nigeria under democratic? What has happened under Buhari's regime for 8 years? Has it happened in those countries when central bank became simply a bazaar and a Father Christmas for some persons in government? So that is not the issue. But what I'm saying is that as far as we are concerned, we shouldn't be the policeman of democracy in Africa. We have a lot to address here as far as we are concerned. And if Nigeria attempts to bring the issue of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, African Union, they will simply be disgraced. They will not be expelled. They will not be expelled from the African Union. Because how many countries in Africa are truly democratic? Please, let's tell ourselves the truth. Equatorial Guinea is said to be democratic. The president has been there for 40 years. Cameroon is said to be democratic. The president has been there since 1980. And Congo Brazzaville is for 30 years. They are all in power. Eyadema has died and he's given power to his son in Togo. So please, this is not what you're supposed to do. The president of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, is in the forefront of instigating that we should go to war to change government in Niger Republic. He is free to go to do that, but not our own country, because we know any war between ECOWAS and this junta is simply between Nigeria and 3 countries. How can we contain that?
Okay, one moment, please. Another caller has come on the line. Good morning to you. Please identify yourself and where you're calling from.
Yeah, very good morning, sir. And then this is Yakub from Dokbemo.
Good morning, Yakub. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then good morning to Comrade Chief Sonny. I totally agree with Mr. George. And then even though the situation is so dicey, I quite understand the stand of Comrade Chief Sonny. But to me, the issue is this. Yes, Nigeria as it is now, I don't think we can prepare to go to Mali or Niger or Burkina Faso to try to say that I want to change the government of that state, or quote and unquote, even the ECOWAS as a whole. I don't think they have the resources to do that now. Yes, negotiation within these guys, yes, it's the welcome idea, but are they ready to listen to anybody? Because the issue is this, they take over the power, maybe all because they were saying that the terrorists are killing their people and all that. Are they able to stop the terrorists to being killing their people now? That's another question. Then another question is this. If Niger, that's very close to us there, they are putting threat to Nigerians, quote and unquote, I think Nigerian government should sit tight and make sure that this does not happen to the citizens. And then Sheikh Hussaini said something which I am very happy I remember, that if Nigerian people, they really want to change their government, they should be, he mentioned, if I don't make a mistake, he mentioned that they should be ready to go to jail, they should be ready to take the bull by themselves, and then Nigerians should support them. How do we going to support them? Because we do respect Mr. Sheikh Hussaini, as it is today, nobody that's ready to go to jail the way you guys did then, because everything has been changed. Because even in Nigeria, God forbid, we can never go back to that kind of era again. If something like that happens, I'm putting it to Comrade Sheikh Hussaini, are you ready to take the book the way you did after that time? Because the issue is this. Yes, I'm putting it to you, sir.
Okay, all right. Mr. Yakub, thank you very much. We got you. Senator, you just heard that viewer say, the time when, people were, the comrades were ready to, confront the situation that they felt was unfair, and if it means incarceration, so be it. Those days are over. He even asked the rhetorical question, today, sir, would you be as forthright as you were back in the day? Maybe you just answer that in passing, because I wanted to come back quickly to the question of combating insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping, and how the present situation is marring that.
Well, first of all, I will tell you that conscience is not about age. It's about conviction. It's about beliefs. It's about principle. If you believe in something, you should be able to stand up and fight for it. After all, by the time we were in jail, Wole Soyinka was far ahead of us in age, and we were still fighting. So at any time when there is an attack on democracy, there are many of us who are prepared to go to prison, even if we will not be able to do what we did when we were younger, but we believe that there are younger people who will be there earlier than us. So they have more stronger fighting spirit than we are today. I think they are still doing it. But that is aside. If we want to keep democracy, sustain democracy in Africa, we need to play the game by play. We have to respect fundamental rights, respect our constitution, organize free, fair, and credible elections, and so on and so forth. You can't be calling yourself civilian governments and you end up rigging election, looting the treasury of the country, and then violating fundamental rights of people, and then you call yourself democracy. So many things can happen in that aspect of it. Why we are particular about Niger Republic is the proximity of Niger Republic and the consequences of the collapse of law and order in that country, and the fact that their people are in support of their own military government. Many of their people are in support of their military government. So what do you do? If they are in support of it, there are people who are opposed to it. We can allow ourselves, when Nigeria was under military rule for 20 years, which country launched an armed attack against Nigeria to change over? In fact, many of these Western countries refused even to impose sanctions when many of us were in prison. They refused to impose sanctions on Nigeria. They were still dealing with Abacha and Babangida's government at that very time. So it is the civil society, it's the people of the country that can change their government. It's not us. As for us, we have our own interest. Our own interest is security. How can we continue to work, our own security forces continue to work with the security forces of Niger Republic? If care is not taken, if there is hostility between Nigeria and Niger Republic, a vacuum will be created. All these ISIS, Boko Haram will now be emboldened to continue to escalate their activities. That is why we are concerned.
Okay, so let me bring in another caller, Senator. Good morning. Please identify yourself and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. This is Temitope calling from Makuonjo.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in, Temitope. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Uncle Yori. The challenge about Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso withdraw from ECOWAS, we want to actually state that if they are ready to go, they should try it out. Nigeria, they have been the beneficiary of the largesse and the resources of Nigeria over time. Nigeria has fully funded the multinational joint task force due to the insurgency and the upheaval in the Sahel region, which has come at a cost. Those money could have used for personal development, our education, and in our health sectors. So if they choose to opt out, I believe we should call it their bluff. So they should go on their own. Let's use this money to secure our borders.
Okay.
We already on to what the activist Senator Usani is saying. Like the chief caller said, in these days we are protesting, we are dancing, we are singing. It was not like that in their days. So I will say if there's military takeover in Nigeria, we welcome it with negotiation and all the likes. Please, we should take it and ensure these resources, instead of spending it on negotiating with them, should be used to secure their borders, our borders.
Well, okay, because I was going to ask, the senator just made the point about instability or unfriendliness from Niger, or a lack of cordial relations between us and Niger, would have its effect on our security. Temitope, okay, you've gone.
No, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Did you catch that point that the senator made?
It's about the instability. We have put so much resources in ensuring these are neighbors, even in the fight against Boko Haram. Most of these hide and seek from Cameroon and neighboring borders, we knew how they contributed to where we got to where we are.
Okay.
It's about the instability. So we should take a firm stand. If they don't want to embrace democracy, then we should stop funding them funding multinational joint task force that should benefit. They have easy access to our region to sell their cattle, their wares, their farm produce. So then why will we?
All right then. Thank you very much, Temitope. Well, I can imagine almost your response to that, Senator, because you've encapsulated in what you said earlier. But Temitope there is saying that let them go if they want to go. That's not quite the way these things work.
Well, you see, what we are trying to do by imposing sanctions on them is we are teaching them to be independent of us. And I don't think at the long term it's for Europe. We need to understand this. Chad, Cameroon, and Niger don't have a Boko Haram problem. It is our problem. It is Nigeria's problem that spreads to their country. So we are the ones that spread the cancer of our own problem to their country. And now they are helping us to fight the terrorists. And even sometimes even incurring into our own borders. Now look at it from that point of view. Secondly, there are no Nigerian refugees in Nigeria. There are Nigerian refugees in Niger Republic, which shows that it is our own problem. There are no Chadian refugees in Nigeria. There are Nigerian refugees in Chad, which shows it is our own problem. We can't secure our country alone if we don't work in tandem, if we don't cooperate with our neighbors. It's not possible. And we can learn from them. If you kidnap any person in Chad, it will take 24 to 48 hours before they get to the terrorists or the kidnapper. There's something in Niger. There's something in northern part of Cameroon. But in Nigeria, it's not the case. We need the support of this country. If they are having a military government, that is not our government. Military, I don't think military will take over Nigeria. As of this time here, we have gone far beyond that. I pray so. But if they have that problem, we can say, okay, but on issues of security, let's work together. And it is give and take. We can't cut electricity supply to Niger Republic and say that will make their government, their people to overthrow their government. Pressures in countries, this kind of sanction, rather garner more support from their people. It doesn't push the people away from the government. We should know. Europe is far away from Niger. We are not far away from it. If there is a breakdown of law and order in Niger, it will affect us. Look at what happened in Sudan. So all what I'm saying is that let's continue to engage them. It is for our own interest.
Okay.
It is in the interest of our security of our country.
Indeed.
Katsina State in the front line, Jigawa in the front line, Sokoto and Zamfara are all in the front line. How can we sacrifice our people simply because those people have overthrown the government of their country? Their people should be able to restore democracy if they want. And if they want their military rule, let them continue to have it. But it's not our problem. It's the security of our country. And let's deal with them on that aspect.
All right, Senator. But I have just less than 2 minutes left. So let me just interrogate that last point that you made, that if they want a military regime, let them have it. That goes against the whole ethos of ECOWAS as enunciated by President Tinubu when this whole, palaver started. He was adamant there, and most African countries seem to say that we're tired of democracy. We're tired of military regimes, a lack of democracy. Africa has to move forward. You can't continue. Democracy might have its flaws, but there's nothing quite as good as it, and so let's work at that. I think it was in that light that President Tinubu had said at the time that there is absolutely no alternative to democracy, and we weren't going to let it stand. Now, it might not have worked out exactly the way we might have thought, now that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are digging in. But how do you see this ending against the backdrop of ECOWAS has immediately responded that we have not been formally notified of the exit of these brother countries, and that they favor a negotiation approach? Are you optimistic that we can talk around this and get back on track as one big African family?
Well, you see, President Tinubu is right. He's the chairman of ECOWAS, and as a chairman, You need to speak based on the laid down rules, the template as for the organization which you are heading. And he has spoken about that. But let's come to reality now. What is ECOWAS? ECOWAS is simply Nigeria. We fund about 80% or 70% of the budget of ECOWAS. All what I'm saying is that in the event of any military confrontation or breakdown of one another, it will be Nigeria versus the three countries, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, all those, Guinea, Conakry, and whatever. What do they have? We had the experience in the 90s. What happened in Liberia? The West promised to help Nigeria to be able to restore order in Liberia and Sierra Leone. They left us to foot the bill. The former chief of defense staff said Nigeria spent about $7 billion, which the money was never refunded. 80% of those killed were Nigerian soldiers. So don't listen to those who want you to go hawkish and go into military confrontation.
Okay.
If any of those so-called champions of democracy wants to restore democracy, they should do it. For us, the security of our own country is what matters most.
We've got to leave it there. Senator, thank you very much for making time for us this morning. We've got to leave it there. We've taken the perspectives of Senator Shehu Sani. This is a story that, as you can imagine, is only just beginning, so this can't be the end of it. We'll also take a look at other perspectives as the week wears on. Thank you very much for being with us this morning, Senator Shehu Sani, once again.